I do not own the rights to this music.
Working on the beat. It's a true foundation. I'm holding up the glass stand. Stand from the door. Just to see me like that. Working on the beat. Going up to heaven again. When you see me crying, I'm working on the beat. Holding up the glass stand. Stand from the door. Just as soon as I get through. Working on the beat. Going up to heaven.
Hello, and welcome to Sunday School Summary with Brother Ron. Sunday School lesson for Sunday, March 13th, 2022. Our reference material for the Sunday School Summary is based upon the International Sunday School Lesson Series as published by the Sunday School Publishing Board. We are discussing God Frees and Redeems as the title of the Spring Lesson Series, which is categorized into 3 units or groups of lessons. We are in Unit 1, and we're talking about liberating Passover. It's 4 lessons that explores the memory of the liberating events of the Exodus of the children of Israel. The God Frees and Redeems series focuses through the lens of liberation, Christian freedom to examine and experience the nature of God who acts to deliver and free people in different situations. And in today's lesson is to free the children of Israel from the roadblocks in the rebuilding of the temple. The title of our second lesson in the Unit 1 Spring Lesson Series is titled Support for Needed Projects. Support for needed projects. And in this case, it's the support for the rebuilding of the temple at Jerusalem. But in our lives, we can support the endeavors of the church, whether it's physically rebuilding or if it's ministering to rebuild the lives of others. The key verse comes from Ezra chapter 6, verse 12, and it reads, "The God that has caused his name to dwell there destroy all kings and people that shall put to their hand to alter and to destroy this house of God, which is at Jerusalem." So the full force of the law was behind this decree to rebuild the temple. Now, the title of today's lesson, Support for Needed Projects, again is from the book of Ezra and is a continuation of last week's lessons on the arrival of the returning Jews from exile in Babylon at the order of King Cyrus. Now, as we discussed last week, Ezra records the guidance of God's hand working through the decree and financial support provided by King Cyrus of Persia that enabled the Jews to return to Jerusalem and begin the rebuilding of the temple. However, in rebuilding of the temple, the returning Jews encountered opposition from the tribes and government officials in the province or state referenced as beyond the river. Now, this refers to the Persian province that included Judah and Israel. This opposition succeeded in stopping construction for a time. They questioned the authority to rebuild, and Zerubbabel responded that their authority came from the former king Cyrus of Persia and God, which brings us to today's lesson. There are 2 summary lesson points for today: a restoring decree from Ezra chapter 6, verses 1 through 7, praise in the house of God from Ezra chapter 6, verses 8 through 12. The passages for the lesson today revolve around the key words of decree, tribute, restore, and resounding. Now, decree is an order issued by a head of state with the authority of the rule of law, such as King Darius' decree in today's lesson. Tribute is a wealth tax paid by a defeated people as a sign of submission, of authority or allegiance or respect, such as the tributes that are paid by the people in the province beyond the river in today's lesson. Now, restore means to bring back to a previous state. And in today's lesson, it is to restore or bring back the decree issued by King Cyrus in support of the authority to rebuild the temple. Now, resounding, it's loud enough to reverberate, something that is emphatic, definite, and complete. So it's loud and clear as King Darius's response to Tattenai and the officials beyond the river. The first point, a restoring decree from Ezra 6, 1 through 7. Now, these passages record the response of King Darius to the request from the governor of the province beyond the river as to the legal authority or permission of the Jews to rebuild the temple. So King Darius issued a decree to search the archives at Babylon to see if this decree existed. It was not found in Babylon, but it was found in Ecbatana, which was the capital in the province of Media. And the record stated that in the first year of King Cyrus's reign, that he indeed had issued a decree. It concerned the rebuilding of the house of God at Jerusalem, and it was stated that it was a place where sacrifices and burnt offerings were brought to God. It also stated the requirements of the rebuilding. It said it was to be 60 cubits and its width was to be 60 cubits, which was about 90 feet, with 3 courses of hewn stones and 1 course of timber. And the cost of the rebuilding was to be paid by the royal treasury. And also that the gold and silver that was taken by King Nebuchadnezzar when he had sacked Jerusalem and brought to Babylon was to be returned to and placed in the temple at Jerusalem. And King Darius also, in addition to reaffirming the decree, he also reinforced the decree. It says that now you, Tattenai, the governor of the province beyond the river, and Shethar-bozenah, and you and your associates beyond the river, keep away. So he was providing protection to the children of Israel in the rebuilding of the temple. And he says to let the work of the Lord God alone, and let the governor of the Jews and the elders of the Jews rebuild the house of God. So Tattenai got probably a different response or outcome than he expected. And sometimes when we undermine things, God has a different plan and it works out for the glory of God. The second summary point is a resounding decree. So we already talked about King Darius reaffirmed King Cyrus's decree, but he also, in these passages, he follows up to King Cyrus's decree in response to Tattenai, the governor of the area beyond the river. He says, moreover, regarding what you should do, first of all, for these elders of the Jews, for the rebuilding of the house of God, that the cost is to be paid to these people in full and without delay from the royal revenue or the tributes that are being paid by the people in the province beyond the river. So whatever is needed, whether it's been young bulls, rams, or sheep for burnt offerings to the God of heaven, whether it's wheat, wine, or oil, as the priests in Jerusalem require, let that be given to them on a daily basis. Now, the objective of the decree was not totally innocent. He said that that they may offer pleasing sacrifices to the God of heaven and pray for the life of the king and his children. So the king's motive was peace and stability. So furthermore, he said that if anyone alters this edict, meaning he would penalize them, and there was a severe penalty for them violating this decree, says that a beam shall be pulled out of the house of the perpetrator, and he then shall be hanged. and that the house would then be destroyed and serve as a dunghill. He also offered a prayer. It says, "May the God who has established his name there overthrow any king or people that shall put forth their hand to alter this decree or to destroy the house of God in Jerusalem." And he said, "I make this decree, Darius, and I do it or expect it to be done diligently," meaning it's supposed to be done expeditiously and carefully according to the edict. So the Lord has provided the support for the children of Israel to continue the building of the temple. The Lord has worked through King Cyrus and King Darius to further his plan for the rebuilding of the temple. That's the Sunday School Summary for Sunday, March the 13th, 2022. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed week, and we hope to see you next Sunday for another edition of Sunday School Summary with Brother Ron.